U.S. cities and countries is an estimated $574 billion. In addition to their pensions, federal employees are offered a 401k plan plus 5% matching, whereas the average private employees offer 3% matching in a 401k plan without pension. So this one, I said yes. I think you have enough. I think what do you call it, bumps as a federal employee. That your pension plan, I think, should just be the same as any other private citizen. So that's why I answered yes to that. Next question, more important to me: would you favor an increased sale tax in order to reduce property taxes? And I said no. And while that may sound maybe less liberal than normal for me, I'm looking at the economy and say we need people spending, and if the sale tax is increased, and you don't own the property, you're not going to like the fact you're going to spend less because taxes are high. I guess that's my reasoning there on that one. Okay.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Where's your killer instinct, son? You gotta get angry. You gotta get mean. That's the only way you can play.
Well, I guess I'm not really an angry person.
Are you angry now?
This is your captain speaking. I have the only gun on board. Welcome to Con Air.
Okay, and welcome to Where Do You Side on Domestic Policy Issues. A lot of these are also pretty much cut and dry for me, but again, I will give you brief synopsis and brief explanations for those more complicated issues. The first question, I put most importance for me: do you support increased gun control? And on this one, I went with, again, out of stance. I said not only yes, but yes, requiring strict background checks, psychological testing, and training. So that was my answer there. And I think my stance on gun control has been well maintained, of course, especially the last 6 weeks. Next question, most importance to me: should every person purchasing a gun be required to pass a criminal and public safety background check? Yes, without a doubt, no optional stance there. Next question, importance more: should there be term limits set for members of Congress? And here I opted for the other stance, and I said yes, term limits are a necessary political apparatus to prevent corruption in our government. So yes, there's a term limit for our president, for Christ's sake. The number one seat in the entire Washington, D.C. has term limits. So why should the people who represent our states and our jurisdictions, so forth, why should they not have term limits? If they don't have term limits, then this president shouldn't have term limit. After all, the very question I just answered, it just answered me: to prevent corruption. Next question, more importance: should the NSA be allowed to collect basic metadata of citizens' phone calls, such as numbers, timestamps, and call durations? And again, without out of stances, I said no. Next question, importance more: are you in favor of decriminalizing drug use? Now, this is a very vague statement, so it's a very difficult statement to tread on here. I chose of the stance, and here's what I chose: yes, most but not all drugs. Beard break. Interesting I call that right now. Well, alcohol is not illegal, so screw you. Okay, anyway. Yes, but not all drugs now, which means that we're not going to make, obviously, it legal to get caught using cocaine or heroin or meth. We're saying I'm in favor of decriminalizing drug use as far as other drugs, most but not all drugs, which is, again, alcohol and marijuana. And those are the only two at this point I'm going to be in favor of decriminalizing the drug use of those. And this was where I went. I told you previously, but we're going to get down to where trying to stop the drug war that is overloading our prisons. And that's where we're at here. Next question, I put it somewhat important. I have a very few that are somewhat important. This is one of those. Should internet service providers be allowed to give preferential treatment to higher paying customers? And I've had a whole segment on this with my previous shows, net neutrality here. And net neutrality is the principle that internet services providers should treat all data on the internet equally. I answered this other stance: no, this would allow telecommunications companies to remove competition, create artificial scarcity, and increase prices. This is the thing with internet net neutrality, or a lot of people who are liberal are for it. I'm against it because I think it will increase our prices, our internet, and will cause services that we enjoy right now so nicely, as like Hulu Plus and Netflix, to only go even higher in price, to the point where they begin to more resemble HBO and Showtime. Next question, importance, I put most. Should corporations and unions be permitted to fund advertisements to back political candidates through political action committees, super PACs? No. And if you need a reason for that, then you don't know me shit. Okay, you don't know me for shit. No effing way. Let's put it that way. This is the Koch brothers buying politicians, and I'm not for that. Next question, importance more. Do you support affirmative action programs? And I personally will admit I had to actually look this one up a little bit. I was not completely sure what it was. I think it was about pro-minorities programs, and as a matter of fact, affirmative action is a policy that encourages the increased representation of members of a minority group. In the U.S., these policies are often enacted by employers and educational institutions in education or employment. Answer yes on that one. Once I learned that, no problem. I put this one down. What's more important to this question for you might be to say that I only put this down as importance as somewhat. And you might be surprised by that when I say the question is, do you support the Patriots Act? In which my answer was no. The Patriots Act kind of hand in hand with the NSA's certain recent dilemma. As this was the Patriots Act that was in response to 9/11 that included monitoring of foreign financial transactions, detaining and deporting immigrants suspected of terrorism, wiretaps, business record searches, and surveillance of individuals suspected of terrorist activities. The problem and the reason why I say no is because it turns out it was kind of used, as you can imagine, by the NSA to further its efforts to monitor people whom obviously were not terrorists. Okay, next question. And you may think, well, okay, that's a big thing. That's you don't think that we should try to do everything we can to stop terrorists who are working inside our borders? I'm not saying we shouldn't, but we should not violate the Constitution to do so, and doing so, go after people who aren't terrorists, who aren't a danger to our country. Their rights also are important, I believe. Okay, and the Patriots Act opened up all sorts of conundrums in that matter. There are other ways to catch terrorists, and believe me, I want them caught, just legally. I'm sorry, we kind of live in a democracy here. Might be a problem in some cases. I know. Last question, importance more. Should the redrawing of congressional districts be controlled by an independent, non-bipartisan commission? To me, that's a no-brainer. Obviously, yes. So that is the section on our domestic policy issues. Class, take a break and sharpen your number 2 pencils now, please.
In Napoli, where love is king, when boy meets girl, here's what they say.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing Vita Bella. Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, tippy-tippy-tay, like a guitar.